Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Oceania 2024 Championships here in Australia, hosted by Gamingverse in Melbourne. This is the quarterfinals, and I am joined by your favorite son, Ghoul.
How's it going, everybody? Should be a lot of good Final Fantasy TCG here. So,
Yep, and I know you guys have been anticipating this, so hope we'll get straight to it. We currently have Paul versus Rob Barron, not Rob Meadows, just to make it clear for people who are local and know the two Robs. We shall start now. Something funny here. These two players are teammates. They're currently part of my group that I play with and practice with. They forego deck checking because we basically built out all our decks. So they're just like, let's get into this.
so the little cards there, by the way, had either A or B each player. This is a two-deck tournament. Anybody that's not familiar with Final Fantasy TCG two-deck format, you have to build two decks, and you cannot share any cards among the decks. So you can't say, for instance, put two copies of Cloud in one deck and one copy of Cloud in the other deck. You have to have, if you put a single copy of a card in one deck, it can't be in the other deck at all.
And this is
So
serial based, so you can't have one type of cloud in one deck and a different cloud in the other.
yes. Um, so what's going on here is the players have to choose their first decks. The first match is chosen blind, meaning the player, you don't have that like one player chooses first and the second player gets to pick. You have to pick your deck without knowledge of what your opponent's picking. So there's little cards there that were visible for a little bit at the beginning, where them choosing which deck is going to go first.
Yeah, and just to elaborate on the rules, if you win a match, you have to swap decks. You have to win with each of your decks in order to get the round match win.
And if you lose, you have the ability to switch decks as well, if you would like.
Yes.
Now, granted, it doesn't. You do have to win with both decks no matter what. You can't just kind of not win with one of your decks by switching. But if for some reason maybe your deck wants to go second, or this deck has, one of your decks really wants to go first, you have the ability to do that by um, switching decks going into your second game. Looks like we are just now finished shuffling up.
Paul was top of Swiss at first place. This is first versus eighth, I believe. So Paul gets the choice of going first or second.
Yes, this was a cut to top 8. We had, I believe it was 36 players
Yes.
in Swiss. Some players entered with buys from other large tournaments. Paul was one of those.
Yeah,
Which,
we had six players, I believe, with the three buys that day.
yes, we did.
I'm not sure what's going on here. I haven't watched the videos ahead of time, so I just cut to where I saw them getting ready. Also, that rule about cards not sharing does apply to the LB as well.
hmm That's probably the most impactful place. The traditional thing is which deck gets Tidus and which deck gets Leo is the classic question.
Yes.
Um, the most powerful and generic LBs. It's one of those things that's like it's a really funny issue, and actually, as somebody who played two deck format last tourney, it was an even bigger issue then. Decks like Mono Lightning, for instance, literally did not have enough LBs to be castable. Like you just had to run like a dead extra LB.
Well, that's why we saw for the first few months of this the that one Luso in a lightning deck.
But nowadays, it's a slightly less of an issue. Still, is definitely there and interesting and relevant. Like I said, in particular, Leo, Tidus, the water LBs, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, basically, or three
So
horsemen. I guess the fourth horseman would be Noctis.
yeah, oh yeah, the Noctis. So it looks like Paul has
uh,
opted to go second.
yep. Which probably means one thing.
Yes.
That's gonna be we're going to be seeing some dark
Yep,
cards.
yep.
But
There's all
what we're
dark.
seeing from the hand in Paul's, that is going to be Chaos Combo, and I believe this is the deck that Rob affectionately calls Democracy.
Yeah, Democracy Manifest. I don't know if you guys seen it. It's an old Australian meme of a gentleman currently popularized here for shouting, "This is Democracy Manifest" while being arrested.
So this is a four-color Darkness Manifest Arc Brew. Now that is not where you really want to be against an
No, it's
aggro deck, and Rob knows what he's playing against here as well. I'm not gonna lie. I almost wonder if there's an argument for Rob just ditching the hand size rather than playing the Tyro, because we're gonna have to lose 2 cards in hand here if the Chaos goes off immediately, and this Tyro is putting Rob so far behind the 8 ball.
Unless he's
I mean, we're gonna
comfortably
have,
sitting on a Mist Dragon.
but like even if you miss Dragon here, you still go down on hand size by quite a bit. There is an argument sometimes against Chaos that just cards in hand. It's like this Tyro is never going to generate 5 CP worth of value. Yeah, he generated 2 by getting the search, but this Tyro now has to untap for 3 turns, and we just won't have 3 turns potentially for this game.
Alright, so there's the first flare.
Yep. Paying cost. Flare is you mill the top 10 cards of your deck for cost to do your opponent a point of damage. Now, sending the cards from your deck to the break zone is actually a benefit for this deck. The Darkness
Good hit.
Manifest.
There it is.
There's the Mist Dragon. That's the entire hand gone for Rob with 1 card left, and Paul could just potentially flare again here, which
That might be a last side to search out another Chaos.
in which case Rob is really going to be hurting. I do wonder if Paul should have just gone for the double search there.
Done the search first, then gone for the flare.
Because now Rob's still going to get to keep whatever that top deck was. If he had let the Mist Dragon resolve and then flared again on top of it, he could have ripped that top card out, the last card out of Rob's hand. It's usually you expect this deck to try to be going for it. Looks like we're filtering out by different Chaos names and probably the disciplinary committee members. There's 2. Oh, so we're going to go for a Leo. Just try to put that forward pressure on. This is about as good as Rob could hope for. But again, he still discarded 2 cards in a way. He just isn't getting punched in the face now.
Yeah, he is in top deck, but so is Paul. I guess it's just more, does he have any answers to respond to the 2 forwards?
There's the whole hand for Thornton now.
Yeah.
That's going to get us any card in the deck. We're looking at an Une. We move to the top immediately. That could be good next turn.
Yep.
But now if Paul finds another Chaos, we could be in a world of hurt here.
Well, we're getting 2 points of damage in no matter what.
Yeah.
But being on 3 damage in this game is not a bad thing, I find.
Yeah, but if we get a flare here, which that's Galarsa, that's going to be a flare. That's another point of damage if this resolves, which it should. Rob doesn't have any way to interact with this. And if we hit, a Raijin or a Raijin and a Fujin, Rob could be looking at, damage 5, damage 6 right away.
Just the value and threat that this deck can generate so quickly is, frankly, absurd in my opinion.
It really is. I mean, it's the classic red deck wins thing in Magic where you just kind of get punched in the face. Interestingly, that we're going to combat. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but we move to combat before declaring. There's no main phase only stuff that will happen here, and we want to make sure that we get this flare off before we hit a lead 6 and kind of lose access to the Chaoses. Looks like we pulled 2 aside, which is going to be both disciplinary committee members. Milled an extra Raijin. But we're going to go to damage 6 right here. There's a Tyro. We're going to need a lot of these bursts right here to get us out of this situation.
Probably going to grab Darkness, I'm assuming, because that's the point of the deck.
I almost wonder if you get something Earth, with the intent that if you hit a Terra as a burst, you can pick up the Mist Dragon, and not take the damage from the Fujin and the Raijin.
Maybe.
You've already lost 1 Terra discarded. I don't know how many Rob was on. I can pull up this deck list, actually, while we're waiting for the search. We get a Garnet instead. I like that choice a lot more than the Darkness Manifest, because the Darkness Manifest doesn't stop us from dying next turn, and a Mist Dragon from this could actually matter.
Yeah, do you really want to be sacrificing Darkness Manifest to a blocker to then kill something else and just lose the value you generated?
Yeah, I mean, you just die anyway. You block the first striker, because if we go to damage 3 here, that's another burst. Again, we need a lot of these.
We're going to be seeing a lot of this over the course of the next 3 games. High burst decks are just the only real way to go right now.
is on 2 Terra.
All right. There's the Neo X Death. Kukullen. Bit late though.
I mean, you still
You
take
get
it. It's a
you
draw.
get a card draw, yeah. And there's the Lev.
So with this, we can bounce the Leo and put the Chaos on the bottom of the deck, or we're gonna get a card back. I guess we're looking to just Shantoto LB this turn,
Maybe.
which is the other advantage of searching out the Earth forward as well. It gets you the extra Earth card to help pay that kicker cost for that Shantoto. Potentially, I don't think we have enough Earth to do that by the looks of it, though. No, we do.
Maybe. Yep, we do.
Yeah. Flips that entire LB deck over. We're just going to have 2 more Earth cards, which we do. There goes everything. And now Paul's just got to find...
Oh. Oh!
I
The
I
lightning
mean,
for the
Paul
win
was
into the
very happy with
Anat.
that.
Oh.
But do we have the... I mean, I guess we probably have a Lightning and an Odin in the bin. We can't do it this turn, but Rob is in a lot of trouble next turn as well. If we don't find something like a Mist Dragon here.
But that was still a good clutch play there. Oh.
That's a Mist Dragon.
That's a Mist Dragon. Can I do a lightning count? That's just the perfect draw. That's the
I mean, that's what
exile.
you need sometimes against this deck. Is
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to get a little lucky, either than bricking a little bit or drawing all 3 Mist Dragons in the top 7 cards of your deck.
But yeah, he has to do it now before Paul gets the priority.
I don't know. You could have waited.
Can you respond to after it casts?
Yeah, it's an entry effect from the break zone. You can cast it as their. You can make them pay the cost and then remove it on the stack.
Okay.
There's a window there. You're not casting it from the break zone. You're playing it from the break zone to the field. So it's an action ability. It's not a you don't get to cast the card from the break zone. If you could cast
Leo.
it, then you would have that. Yeah, here's a Leo. So we're digging, trying to find something. I didn't see. I saw we milled at least one of our Estinians. Those would be a really big problem for Rob if we can't find something like a Kukullen here. Probably the scariest thing we could have, but we don't have anything here, so we're just drawing a card, ditching. It looks like the Earth Chaos. Probably can't flare anymore at this point if you're Paul. We're a little too deep now.
No, we're 20. We're at least 20 cards, and after the number of draws we've had.
But any damage is game. And Rob is in top deck situation. He's got no LB. But this is the problem with us Mist Dragoning preemptively. Is that we could have Mist Dragon, unless he could have like done it and then done it twice, but it's so expensive because you have to pay a water and a lightning. We could have taxed him out. We could have made this Leo not really happen last turn. Ditching looks like an Ezel for a blue worm. I'm going to draw ourselves a card.
Paul is just digging for that final point of damage.
Yeah, I mean, the Shantoto, especially with the Tyra behind it, is very chonky, which is...
Oh, there's the lightning.
There's the lightning. We're just hard casting it. We were looking for that lightning. I guess we were looking for a lightning card, which looks like we ditched. Is that an Estinian we discarded for it?
Yes, Justinian.
So we're going for it right here. This he has to have exactly Amaterasu here, I think. Unless he's got something like an Azura.
How many does he run?
2 Amaterasus. We've already seen the one.
Yep.
That is probably going to be game. I guess we could also cast like a 6 cost levy, bounce the Leo would be another out we could have. Oh no, because the lightning still gets to attack. So Paul has 2 attackers here. I don't see many outs to this situation.
Yep. So game 1's going to Paul. It did have it. It looks like
Yeah, he had the
had the
levy, but
levy, but not
because
enough.
the yeah, because lightning has haste as well, only removing one of the forge, you had to remove two of them, or you had to reactivate the Shantoto.
All right, so Paul now has to put away Dark Chaos, sorry, and pull out his
His
second deck,
second deck is Mono Earth, which I think pretty generally regarded as the best deck of the format right now.
which surprised a
So
lot of people, and I believe gave you a little bit of a shock. Paul put
uh,
away his Rydia deck.
yeah, he wasn't playing. Paul is very well known for kind of being the last bastion of the Cat 4 Rydia deck.
Uh,
But the power of this Mono Earth deck really is hard to ignore. It's very good at what it does.
he literally, for the Gunslingers, when we did the playmat signing, he literally wrote "Thank you for Rydia" on the playmats. That's how much he rates that card. But I think he was saying that, yeah, he's been feeling a little bit less confident with it over time, and coming into the national event Continentals and all that, your chance at going to Worlds, you don't want to be holding back.
Yeah, I mean, deck decision is such a difficult thing because there is value in playing decks that you are uniquely good on, and I think that Paul is a player that is uniquely good on Rydia. But you do have to question how much of that skill gap is going to be there if your deck is just slightly less powerful. And again, this Mono Earth deck is so strong and uses a lot of the tools that the Rydia deck would want to use. So unless Paul found a novel way to combine the two, this is probably the best way to use those tools in his estimation. And it's hard to disagree with the logic there, I think.
No,
I
and
do
I think that would
appreciate
have been
the
exactly what he went through. That exactly the thought process he would have gone through. I think the wording, if I remember, because obviously I'm a playmate of Paul's, was this does what Rydia does, but probably more efficiently.
I do appreciate that he's using the Golbez sleeve, still getting a bit of Cat 4 flavor with this deck.
It looks like Rob is staying on Democracy Manifest.
Yep. And this is the start that you want with this deck. These four-color piles, if they're not on the Refia control package, you really want to start with this Claris, because this Claris now gets to cascade into three of our colors of backups here. There's a
Oh,
minor.
there's
It's
a
a
minor.
great start. That said, this card is also the most cursed card in the metagame. But this time it did its job,
No,
found the
found us the Claris.
I have seen minor miss so many times.
So have I, including that weekend. It was it was good
I
for
mean,
me, but
yeah,
not
it's about
something
an
you feel good
88%
watching.
hit rate with 18 backups, which is pretty standard for these mono earth decks. They're very backup focused, and the deck ramps incredibly well. Looks like Paul's even going a little deeper here. A little surprised. I mean, I'm not too surprised. He knows he's probably got a little bit of time here, but usually what you can do is you can hold this Claris, get an Epitaph, and the Epitaph can go in next turn. Um, Saving a bit of time here, Rob is going, while we're getting the search for the Epitaph, we're going to go get our Lena. And we're just going to go straight play the Lena. So both players are shuffling from
Searches.
basically the end of their turns. I can't imagine Rob has another play after playing the Lena. So I wonder if Paul has like a second minor in hand. Usually that's what ends up being the case if you want to go to two backups and still search the Epitaph. Sometimes you can search like a Kolka to try to save the, okay, I'll go 2 CP into a Kolka. See here, this.
There goes Neo X Death for the Epitaph. And just playing it out. Yeah, you were right.
No, that's the leather worker though.
That's leather.
I mean,
Oh,
he could
sorry,
have
not my
saved a
leather
card in
worker.
hand potentially. Like, he's kind of wasting the extra backup here. If he'd held, he could have gone for Claris and Epitaph, and then still played the leather worker. He would have had an extra card in hand. So unless we got like a Mist Dragon, we really want to hold open during our opponent's turn. We're kind of being a little bit less efficient than we could be.
I think the thought process is I want to be backups ahead of Rob.
Here comes the Meath. Allow us
And
to
he's
search
using
for
it.
any non-backup by discarding a multi-element card. It's going to get us the four-color Warrior of Light.
And then it looks like
Rob is
straight
set up to
pass.
play it. next turn, and I don't know if Paul is on like something like a backup break Hecaton cheer. Usually the best, like the way of doing it. The other response we could do is something like an Une and just try to cut us off one of our colors. Let me take a peek real quick. We're on 2 copies of Une, no backup break Heka. So there's a pretty good chance the Warrior of Light's going to come down, which isn't the end of the world. Warrior of Light's a very strong card, obviously, but
I
the
did.
Mono Earth.
Sorry, go on.
So the Mono Earth deck is. Oh well. Speaking of Warrior of Light,
Yeah.
I guess we can just play our own instead.
I was saying on the last chess qualifier, I did see some people running the monster in Mono Earth that breaks backups.
Oh yeah. Would have been a little bit trickier here. Mandragora.
Mandragora, yeah.
Really, Mandragora's like prime target is something like a Tyro. Because it breaks a 5 cost for free. If you want to break any backup, you got to get it powered up first, in the same way as the Sahagan Chief. Just getting Earth characters to enter play. But for a way of punishing Tyro, especially, Tyro, getting him into play the first time hurts so much that you really want him, that Rainbow backup on field to kind of recoup some of the value. And breaking him for 2 CP is so debilitating.
Main phase Mist Dragon.
Trying to cut Rob off of the ability to get
To
the reduced cost on that
manifest,
Darkness
yeah.
Manifest. Because that is one that there is no response window to. He's not like picking the cards and then saying, I would like to remove these to cast the Darkness Manifest. Unlike the Lightning. Again, you can't respond to a cast, but you can respond to an action ability.
Yes. Yeah, I just didn't. I just couldn't remember if it was a cast or not. Asking probably how big Leo is. Leo
Yep.
is significantly chunky.
He's a 6K.
Yep.
Easy way to remember Leo, count the characters. So we have 4 backups, 2 forwards. That said, we get anything off the field, Warrior of Light can very easily bop the Leo out of here.
That might be what Rob is trying to work out right now.
I mean, Paul has to let this through. If we trading Warrior of Light here on Paul's end means you trade for the Warrior of Light and the Leo.
Yeah.
So you have to let this through, probably, which is fine. You don't mind taking damage. Rob has a very, very large hand as well.
Yeah, we're still feeling fairly even here. No one's really gotten a lead, so to say. They've just been playing out their value and doing their own thing. He's gone in for it. There's Mont Leonis.
It's a good card. I wonder what Paul was thinking about there, if we have something. Well, whatever it is, Rob is going to go ahead and pass turns, so. It's a pretty full grip from Rob, and this deck does play quite a few summons. So Paul can anticipate there's going to be some kind of interaction.
Yeah, and as we were saying before about picking a deck you're more familiar with, that is exactly what Rob did, picking Darkness Manifest. This is his sort of star child that did well for him at Wollongong Materia Cup. And yeah, he felt like this would probably be his better chance to pick something more familiar than switching to something like Mono Earth or Mono Water.
Looks like another leather worker we're getting in there. And then we're going to go for a Genova Synthesis. That's going to allow the Warrior of Light to trade, or to kill the other Warrior of Light. 8K plus 5 is more than
But
10.
then we hit the Tyro.
That is a Tyro. I wonder if we just get another Warrior of Light here, you think? Probably. The most valuable Sedain. Okay, so we have another Warrior of Light in hand already. Damage 3 really turns on anything in Rob's deck?
I'm not sure. I don't believe it does.
So imagine the Leo's going to get in here as well. Yep, there it is.
Garnet.
There's the Garnet.
Oh, looks like Shantotto. And then he's left 3 backups up to Zidane to start hand sculpting. And Toto and Kusith. Or
Rip the
Kushi.
Kusith, kind of prevent those from going again.
And there's a Warrior of Light.
Surprised you wouldn't just leave that. Without the Leo on field, that Warrior of Light doesn't really do anything. And you know one of the Leos are cheated, one's in the break zone, so it's a little harder to get access to it.
Yeah, but I also guess, like, keeping the Toto isn't going to hurt either. Actually, no, you can break the...
You can break Minor.
Minor,
Yeah.
that's right, that's right.
And it's completely hand neutral to do so. Like, I wouldn't be scared of the Shantoto here. Especially Rob is so far ahead on hand size after that. Kind of caught Paul overextending a tiny bit, potentially.
Yeah, he played out just to kill the Warrior of Light, just to get a bit of damage in, but...
There's no surges or anything in Paul's list, so we couldn't just, like, dull the Warrior of Light, get the 2 points of damage in that way. Wish I could see what colors Rob has in the break zone. I know we have at least the Lena and the Warrior of Light. If we have 2 more, we could have a nice, cheap Darkness Manifest here in a little bit. Looks like we're debating cracking this Minor for a draw, which is what we're going to do. That's just 2 colorless CP and tapping the Minor and breaking it to draw a card. Gonna put us back down to 4. So we've opened a slot. I wonder what we're looking for. We've got a Leo in hand now, it looks like. Is that a Mist Dragon I see? I think we still have the Shantoto. And I can't tell what that is on the far left. Ditching the... Kolka.
That's
Iridia.
Iridia, isn't it? Yeah, I was trying to remember
So we're
the
going to
name.
search for a summon. Paul's on 12. So... Wouldn't mind getting
Titan.
something... Okay, Titan. Makes sense. Try to prevent the Zidane from going after our hand, especially with the 3rd Leo in there. Looks like we're going to go right ahead and do
Ditching
that.
the Toto.
A little preemptive. I would have liked him forcing Rob to go to combat first. Now, if Rob gets another Zidane, he could potentially get 2 rips as opposed to just 1. If you wait for combat, Rob can't do that.
Well, assuming Paul knows what's in the deck and one of them is exiled, I'm wondering if Paul just knows that there's only 2 in the deck. If there is only 2 in
Yeah,
the
but
deck.
like you could Kusith it back, for instance. Like it's just a way
Yeah.
of preventing the Zidane from like you both prevent the attack off of the Zidane and the damage. It's like we do have all of them removed from the game, but yeah, it does mean that like a Kusith, for instance, now here does a double rip as opposed like, twice.
Yeah, you can
And the
still do
damage
it.
if you just go start a combat, tighten it, then you're in the exact same spot. And maybe the Zidane isn't the most threatening thing that comes down this turn. Maybe it's if Rob finds something like a Darkness Manifest, for instance, and you really want to get rid of it, that could be something that you want to tighten over the Zidane even.
Or even use the Mist... Oh, no, that's right, you can't use the Mist Dragon on that. Yeah, I'm keep mixing that up in my head.
Yeah, remember, you can respond to action abilities, you can't respond to casts.
Yeah.
Darkness Manifest is an alternate cast condition that if you can remove a fire, water, wind, and earth, I think is a card or character?
I believe it's a character.
If you can remove those from the break zone, from the game, as you do it, you can make him cost only 2. Wrong. There we go. Yeah, it is characters. Now, notably, Warrior of Light is 4 of those. It only counts as 1 at a time, but we do know the Lena's in there. So if we have...
And now Zidane. So we got Wind, Water, X.
Or Zidane could be fire if you want Zidane to be fire.
Yeah.
So if we have either we need an Earth character in there.
Oh, it looks like he does have 4. So there's the Lena, and it was Terra.
Yep, Terra for fire. Warrior of Light is Earth. Zidane is wind, and Lena is water. That's a Darkness Manifest. So, for anybody that hasn't seen this card in a while, it was the Scourge of Opus 21 pre-releases. It has the alternate cast condition that I mentioned. At the beginning of main phase 1 on each of your turns, it just deals your opponent a point of damage for free, without attacking or anything. And then when it leaves the field by any reason, it gets to choose a character and break it. That could be being tucked to the bottom of the deck by a Leviathan. It could be being broken by a Titan. Sent to the break zone by a Famfrit. If it leaves the field, or even like if Rob were, he's not playing it, but if you were Noah Flicker it, like it leaves the field and then comes back, that does still cause it to proc on the break a character trigger. So it's pretty threatening. It's also just a big butt, a big old 9K. And Paul's setup, he really doesn't want this thing to leave the field, but he's not going to have much of a choice, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know if he has the ability to outrace it or not.
Well, you're also turning on, you know that Rob is on the arc. Darkness Manifest makes those arcs cost only 2, which when you play the Darkness Manifest for 2 to begin with, each arc, that's a pretty good discount for a card that is so debilitating when it happens. And it's like we're going into the LB deck. I wonder if we're trying to Shantoto here.
No, it's only grabbing 2, so...
Knocked.
Oh, Noctis there.
So...
Yeah, there he is.
So there's the arc. So this is tricky. Paul's going to go down to 1 in hand, then he's going to get back the target from the Noctis, but that probably ends up being a turn skip at this point, I imagine, with just 1 backup and 2 cards in hand.
Getting back
the Ingus. We're going to play it.
And I believe the other card is a Kusith.
Yeah, so this will get us probably something like an Emmet Selk. But this is going to leave us pretty vulnerable. If Rob draws a second arc or has a second arc in hand, we can get our last card in hand ripped. In this Mono Earth deck, one of the few ways of attacking it is attacking its hand. It's kind of a mid-range deck that has kind of a combo finish to it. It's really looking to kind of line up either like this Ingus plus the Emmet Selk, or Ingus and Emmet Selk over and over again, or like the Leo plus the Warrior of Light combo. And if it's not allowed to hold cards in hand because it keeps getting discarded by an arc, Paul's going to be losing a lot of the power that he's looking for from this deck, I think.
Yeah, especially after that full commitment with the 6 cost.
Yeah, and this Darkness Manifest in a simplified game state like this is very strong, too. Again, sometimes this big body that's doing,
the damage
2 points of damage a turn.
That's Emmet Selk.
There's the Emmet Selk. Paul really gambling on Rob not drawing that
second arc.
I think we've seen one of the Garnets already went to damage.
And Leo got hit.
That's the 3rd Leo, so probably those Warrior of Lights are going to be off for the rest of the game. There's 1 Leo's removed from the game, 1's in damage, 1's in the break zone. It is so funny to me that this Leo is as strong a card as he is now. This card went basically like unplayed meme tier for the better part of 4 or 5 years.
Well, that's something I like about this game. You never know what card is gonna do a new job with a new set. Like, the humblest card can go from nothing to 100 in 2 seconds, but that's most TCGs.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty cool in a way, too. Our video frozen here?
No, I think they're just thinking.
Paul's just sitting very still.
just trying to manifest his energy in reverse. Don't get it.
Maybe if I don't move, he can't see the end to hit it with an arc.
If I don't move, he can't target me. Rob going, oh, this is interesting.
So we're going for the Luna Freya here.
Possibly an arc off the top, even if you don't get the EX burst. Oh, Thornton.
Thornton will do it. I would say Thornton, Terra, a lot of hits there.
Yep,
That's
there it is.
and the best part is that the Thornton we don't
Pays
want that.
for it. Yep.
We don't need it anyway. So there's the rest of Paul's hand, and now we're in a board state where Paul's gonna die in just a couple turns. Paul's dead in 2 turns. Like he has to do something next turn. He's burned the Noctis for the LB. Rob is free to just go to combat here, take the swing.
Yep. Just.
I almost wonder if Rob doesn't or shouldn't attack there. Leave him at 3. No, he needs it to actually threaten lethal this turn.
No. Yeah, I think he's going for it.
Yeah, I was wondering like if there's a way to not give him potential for like a big EX burst to win the game or to get back in the game because Paul is so far behind here. No cards in hand. Rob is sitting on looks like 4. We're gonna go for probably a Desperation Luna Freya, I imagine here.
Yeah.
Yep, there she is.
There's
the
Levy.
lead 6. That's a good one. It is going to give Rob the draw.
But I think at this point you're just stopping the negation, but it also gives him the removal.
We have the 3rd arc here. It is so debilitating. So looks like Paul is. I imagine with the levy, we're going to probably tuck the Darkness Manifest.
So here's an interesting question. I assume it would work the way I think it is. You arc in response to the arc. You Luna Freya. You pick levy. In response to the levy, you arc. You would get rid of the levy as well, correct?
Yes, it is in his hand officially.
Yeah.
You add it to your hand, and then in a new window afterwards, or the auto creates a second auto. But when that auto is on the stack, the levy is technically in the hand.
Yep. Darkness Manifest killing the Luna Freya.
Surprised we went for the Luna Freya there.
Yeah.
I feel like the backups are probably more important for Paul overall.
Unless he's pushing in for that lethal.
Yeah, I wonder if we have like another Warrior of Light in hand, or if we're anticipating getting Warrior of Light.
I don't think he had enough for another Darkness, unless he's got another Darkness in hand. And that's why he went for that. I couldn't see there if he had one of each color.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing is, killing the Luna Freya, Paul can't play another one. We're out of LB at this point. We've got just 2. So probably something like, let me see what his options are for his LB ones, but they're not amazing. He has a Luso and a Matt are the only things he could still play. Missing the Leo because it's and the Surges to the other deck. Or I guess he's not even on the Surges then.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what's in his hand because he should have like all the options in the world right now.
Yeah, we're thinking here. I mean, we also could even just go for I guess depending on which deck has the Noctis.
Kuja just going for the control. Paul's just going to miss Dragon, I assume, to draw a card and protect himself from. Oh, I guess that gets rid of most of those arcs.
I almost wonder if you Lev 6 instead. Hold the Lev 6. Bounce
Maybe.
the Kuja. There's nothing to target for it. Make Rob pay 5 for a 4 that didn't do anything. There's a Ku-Sith. I imagine this is going to be first like an Ingus.
Maybe Montleonis if there's one in bin, but I didn't see one earlier. Can't see that.
Oh, glare is a thing sometimes. I'm sure we'll find out in a second. It's Ingus.
It's Ingus.
I mean, the other nice thing about this is this does build the character count for this searches Montleonis.
Montleonis and adds an extra neg to the cost.
Yeah.
No Genova Synthesis.
Could already have the Mont in hand, or we could just be looking to hard play that. Yeah, we're just going to hard play the Genova here. So, Genova, on entry, is going to do 8,000 damage to all of Rob's forwards because Paul has 5 Earth backups.
It also gets around the targeting effect on Kuja, because Kuja must be chosen in order to get the freeze effect.
Yeah, but Paul's hellbent again, and we're running
Yeah.
out of gas at this point. We've used a lot. All of our Leos are gone. I've seen at least 2 of our Kusits go away. Our LB is exhausted. And Rob should have plenty of gas still in this deck. We've seen like a couple of arcs. I think.
Yeah, I think Rob has got more in the tank, I believe, than Paul, but I still think it's getting fairly close down in deck size for both of them.
That's gonna help. Go get
Yeah,
ourselves a
just
nice
get us.
little Warrior of Light.
Yep. Yeah, this is just coming down to Rob having more in the tank.
And really, those 2 arcs meant that Paul kind of burned some premium cards like his Ingus and one of his Emmett Selks, and really didn't get any value out of them. Kind of been the difference in this game is that again, Rob's been able to attack Paul's hand, and Paul is just kind of perpetually in a top deck, kind of in an emergency situation, and Rob is kind of able to sculpt new plays and have a decision tree. Rob still has 2 LB here as well if we wanted to do one of our LB1s if we have any.
Rob going in with Warrior of Light.
If there's an Emperor, Paul probably didn't want that anyway, so he's okay with that going to damage.
Yeah, especially top deck mode, you really want to be drawing answers.
And I don't think we have a minor in our backups anymore. Because I think our backups are Leatherworker, Rydia, Epitaph, and Claris.
Yes, I believe so.
So yeah, the Emperor is a completely dead card at this point, beyond being discarded for CP.
Yeah, sometimes taking a damage is more beneficial than harmful.
Classic TCG phrase, only one that matters is the last one.
Yep.
There's a Surges. That's going to freeze.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting. We overpaid for that. We could have used... wonder...
I assume he's got Amats and Mist Dragons and such coming out. Like, he's sat on a full hand for most of this game, and he hasn't really been playing too much to the field at one time. So, yeah. 5 cards in hand.
Yeah, 5 in hand, so it's just a way of getting under the hand size limit. No point being more efficient when you hit the discard anyway.
Yeah.
I will say the Lena's a pretty premium target to discard there, too. So our hand must be straight gas if that's the case.
Matt from LB? Oh.
We didn't top deck anything, basically, is what that's telling.
Yep. Straight pass.
And even with the 1K boost.
Oh, there's the Neo X death.
This is a little risky if Paul ends up having something like a Titan.
Nope.
But I mean, you all like clearly also it's you got to go for it because if it does resolve and it does say win the game.
Yeah, so we're currently at 1 match each. Paul has had to put away his Chaos deck. Rob has had to put away his Darkness Manifest. And being a bit of a spoilery here, Rob's second deck is Chaos Turbo. So we have a literal mirror reversal match of the first game.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
Now, my wonder right now is, will Paul go second just to make Rob go first? Something I will note there, are you a little bit more prouder of the players here in Australia now that Chaos is going second instead of first?
I mean, so for anybody that wonders why, generally in almost every card game, and Final Fantasy is no exception, going first is better. However, there are some specific situations and some specific decks where going second is better. And Chaos is one of those decks where you can make an argument that because the goal of Chaos is to line up a very specific combo on the very first turn of the game, you need to find the Opus 23 Chaos Legend, and you need to find another card named Chaos in your hand, and hopefully you have two card named Chaos in your hand. And also, you get to kind of cut your opponent off of one extra draw. It ends up being beneficial to go second, um, and kind of dare your opponent to do, like, what do you do going first against this deck? Like, you put down a backup and go to 4 cards in hand and pass most of the time. If you put it forward to the field, you're just kind of giving the Chaos an extra thing to kill.
Yeah, I will note that me and when we were testing, we always played with Chaos going second, so we were just as confused. It wasn't a unique thing to you, but yeah, we were like, why are these Chaos players going first? Because especially because a lot of us pivoted from Deus to Chaos, and Deus we
Yeah.
also play second as well.
Yeah, and it hits off for a similar reason. Again, you're trying to line up a specific combo. And going second, Hitler can actually do the whole thing on turn one. That said, there is an argument for going first in Hythlodaeus as well because you give your opponent less time to respond if you go for the 3-turn setup, which is the way that I generally have preferred seeing Hythlodaeus run. But you
Nah, I
can,
was playing all in. I was playing the Allure all in one.
yeah, that's what it is. But
Yeah.
like but like if you go first, you can go back up turn one, turn two, search realm, or sorry, it's back up one, turn two, realm to get a Cleon, and then once the Cleon's on the field, it's very difficult to interact with your combo. And like turn three, like what's going to stop you by turn three anyway? The only thing that really was a problem for the deck with that game plan is A, bricking and losing to itself, and B, the fact that Chaos makes you discard 2 cards, or something like a Zidane to, attack the hand and prevent them from keeping the right cards in hand. Um,
Oh, is that just a straight leather worker?
yeah, that's a leather worker. That's fine. Rob, interesting that Rob held there. You can get 2 specials on the first turn going for a backup, but I don't hate the idea of waiting a little bit. So we're gonna get our first flare
Yep.
here. Paul does have a lot. He's on his lead sixes in this deck.
2 hits. One of each of the disciplinary committee. And lightning. Hits
Very relevant.
2, then the other 2, and another
There's oh,
lightning.
Odin and
And
another
another
lightning.
lightning as well. I just noticed the Odin, yeah. Oh,
Well, there's a Kusith. It's gonna pick our thing up. Or pick back up the Leah. We're gonna have to immediately discard 2 here. That's okay. You still any burst that draws you a card is premium in this situation if you're Paul.
yeah. You just discard the card you just lost.
Yeah. Because we want to be doing something like a Shantoto next turn. And any card we get to keep in hand matters.
There's the Lev. Oh, this
That's
is
Lev
looking
6.
good.
I don't think we have a water card in the breakstone, so we don't get to draw, get a forward back, which would be kind of like in this situation, you'd want to pick up something like a Warrior of Light and then bottom deck the Chaos.
Yeah.
But bouncing something like the Fujin here, making him have the Lightning CP to replay the Fujin and putting the Chaos on the bottom of the deck is not bad. Um, Bouncing the Raijin, not sure that I agree with Raijin over the Fujin. Because Raijin, if he comes back in, will have haste anyway. If we like somehow deal with the
Yeah,
Fujin
but
on
so
field.
will the Fujin, I guess.
But like the Fujin like innately has first strike, which is harder to deal with
Which
at
is,
this
yeah,
point.
is the
Like
bigger threat.
if say like Rob can't play the Raijin, if you play the Fujin is a 7K first striker and the Raijin is a 7K haster. So like if it's already in play, the haste keyword doesn't actually matter anymore.
So let's see what Paul tries to play here. He gave himself a whole lot of advantage there. Like Kushi and Levy in EX burst there was probably the best result you can get.
Paul trying to decide how he wants to handle this from here.
I think just set up backups. Yep, go
If
for
that's a minor.
minor. There's a Tyro. That's the only target.
We'll take it. We're probably not happy to play it, but we do pick it up. I kind of would like to see us get a blocker down potentially, just to not get our face punched in like this. If Rob draws a lightning card, we're still going to be eating a bunch of damage here. Even something like a Kolka would be nice if we could just get this Fujin off the field.
Plays another one. Is that a whiff? No, it's not because they're thinking. Alright, yeah, his 3 backups up. He's probably taking 2 damage now. He's thinking, I'm fine even if he replays it. Oh, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Alright.
disastrous.
Yeah, yeah. Ah, cool, I'll just do it again.
And he had the special to go with it as well, so he can
Yeah.
replenish with the Raijin potentially without even having to draw the Lightning CP.
No Raijin, but basically going, yeah, I'm gonna make you discard. Take a damage. Oh, he had another one!
Oh god, that's...
Oh, if he gets the Raijin. Oh my... What? Oh, okay. Okay. There he is.
How did he...
And he has the Raijin in hand and the water card to play the Lightning.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I just realized, yeah, he's got Raijin in hand.
He's dead on field anyway.
Yeah, he's dead, but having that extra... Does he have the card in hand, or did he empty his hand? Actually, can't
Depends
tell.
whatever the last... He's got... Yeah, I think he's on empty hand at
Okay,
this
so
point.
he must have discarded it.
The card on the left is LB deck.
Yeah. Oh my god, just... It's not even making the... They do the discard? Yeah, they did do the discard.
Yeah, yep, he did the discard.
Oh no, and yeah, he's just like, let's see what it is. Claris, yay.
Yeah, he knows he's dead. There's nothing he can do.
Oh, Levy would have worked, but getting 2 levies in the one is possible, but not.
He had Shantoto in hand too.
Yeah.
Then he got baited into not using it because he hit the lead 6 on damage 3 the last turn. He felt safe to build some backups.
I would have felt safe as well. Like, who expects the second chaos?
It's that's just rough. And like, not only the second chaos, but a chaos with two other specials on top. And he milled a chaos on the first one, I'm pretty sure. So one was in the break zone, one was on the bottom of the deck.
Yeah, like, I don't blame Paul for that move. That was the right moves.
That's just the classic, like, sometimes this deck wants to win, and sometimes the deck wants to lose as well, and you see it on both of those games. You know,
yeah.
the duality of this deck sometimes.
I will say the good news, because obviously this video is coming out after results have been posted. Paul did end up winning the lower bracket, coming in 5th to get that Road to Worlds. So Paul was our 5th positioner at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And Rob obviously going to top 4 alongside, who was it again? It was Albert, yourself, Rob, and NATO?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, so for a lot of us that were playing, especially here in Oz, where we have had low Worlds invites, this was like really big celebration for us, just knowing who the at least 4 out of the 5 slots was. But yeah, that was the quarterfinals. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us. Press all the good buttons below. Leave a comment. Go check out Ghoul on his channel. Ghoul02, I believe.
Ghoul SRL on YouTube, Ghoul02 on Twitch.
Okay. Yeah, so please check them out. They've been a great help to us. And we'll see you guys on the semis. Take care.